Hi viewers, today we will try to understand when a buyer buys a property which is obtained through partition. There are properties which are usually divided by the family members obtained through their ancestors. Now, when you are buying a property from a partitioned property, then what are the precautions you need to take and what are the threats? Until unless there is a registered partition deed, the buyer should not get involved in buying these properties. Any kind of oral partition, any kind of partition by possession, any kind of partition only by title without possession are big threats to the property. And any kind of property purchased by oral partition will not give you any kind of title or possession. So it's very important that partition should be done through court of law or court order, or it should be a registered partition deed. Without registered partition deed or a court order for partition, the title will not pass on to the present buyer, and the present buyer will be at a losing end. His money will be lost, and at the same time he will not get the property. And further, there will be number of claims. Once the registration happens in the favor of buyer, there may be a chances that his family members will file a suit for partition after the registration, will lead to multiple litigations. Thus, it's very important to understand the concept of partition. Without partition, any person is buying a family property will only lead to issues. So it's always advisable to ask for a partition, register partition deed before buying a joint family property. Otherwise, once the property registration is happened, then the buyer has to file a suit for declaration, for title and possession, so that he will not have an issues from the other family members. In case the buyer is cheated and the property is registered on his name, and further the buyer comes to know that there is no registered partition deed or no court order for partition, then he has to file a suit for recovery of monies from the seller and make sure that he files a police complaint for his fraudulent sale without registered partition deed or court order. It's very important to understand that all the family members should be involved in registration of a property when they have an interest in the joint family property. Even if the buyer is buying a small part of the property, he should make sure that he gets a consent from other family members and make sure that the consent is in a registered document, particularly in case of a registration of sale. For example, if the buyer is buying a property of a family member who are having say 4 members, all 4 have equal rights, but one particular family member is selling his share, then they should get the consent of other 3 family members and they should be added as a consenting parties to the registered sale deed to avoid future problems, and subsequently it is advisable to file a suit for declaration of title and possession to get a perfect title.